Alright, so as we take a look at our initial surroundings of this place, why don't we go ahead and speak with Ken and Ram again, and take on our next quest entitled The Phantom Village. Ken and Ram scans the empty settlement with wary eyes. So let's see what we got. Hold, not a single soul about. Don't tell me it's a ghost town. No use pondering though, we better take a look around where Offenkamp stands guard. As long as the ship's safe, so are all the provisions on board. And that means one less worry while we're getting our bearings. Yeah, she's like, leave it to me. Let me know if you find anything of interest. Sure thing. So, 3 different spots we have to look at. Beginning with this faintly glowing stone over at the base of this obelisk. Likely carved by skilled hands, this ether-infused stone exudes a faint glow. It is unclear whether the stone emits light naturally, or if some internal mechanism is causing the illumination. And we'll head on over this way. We see something glittering over here. An entrance to this building, which apparently is considered overgrown. It's also got a wooden bar blocking it. The foliage choking the building and the overall state of decay suggests that it is abandoned for some time, left to the mercy of the elements. And we do see ivy down the left side of the building and around the side as well. Let's head on over to the opposite side. And start climbing stairs, of which there are many. A pair of flights. It looks like where we have to go is up to the top and take a left. So when we arrive, we find a survey point and a little garden. So the Phantom Village now added to the Occult record. And then over here we have this vantage point. Yeah, almost like an old school Spanish-style watch post, as it were. 2 shipwrecks are visible in the vicinity of the eerily still bay. No doubt once crewed by brave sailors seeking the inner reaches of Shade's Triangle. Judging from their orientation, the vessels must have sunk while attempting to leave the island. There is no telling whether the souls on board were also lost to the waves. You have finished investigating the area. Kent and Ram will be keen to know of your findings. Well, let's go ahead and jump off this then. Yeah, almost kill ourselves doing it. So Ken and Ram's chilling out over here. So let's go ahead and hear what he has to say. I'm guessing you're no closer to solving the island's mysteries either. Looking at these structures, I say the settlement's ancient. The original inhabitants may be long gone, but I was half hoping to find a few survivors from the wrecks at the very least. Anyhow, this building in particular took me interest. I managed to force the lock. Oh, you did, huh? I don't want you to think I'm in a habit of breaking locks in general skullduggery, other than when strictly necessary, of course. Let's take a look inside, shall we? I guess so. So as we pry open the door, it looks like we have candles that are still burning after all this time, but they're all defending a coffin. Well, that's something. And this kind of makes us think of the new Final Fantasy XI themed raid that we have here for Dawntrail. A sarcophagus, you reckon? One Barmastia, I won't get too close if I were you. I sense arcane trickery afoot. These candles aren't being kept alight by natural means, that's for damn sure. Yeah, these things would have burned out a long time ago otherwise. Yep, he was right. we did see a noticeable glow on the floor, and there it is. In addition to the force fields covering the sarcophagus. Just as I thought. Experience tells me a war like this will have us jumping through hoops to dispel it. Well, let's hope we don't have to open up and find out what's inside on the sarcophagus. Oh, what's going on? Only ye deserve melee claim. Who's saying that? Yeah, let me see what I can do. I hear the voice again, but yeah, let me see what I, as the Warrior of Light, can do. Thankfully, I have his confidence. Let's reach out, and apparently I can take down a force field by just reaching out to it. Don't even need to touch it. Not sure which is the more confounding mystery. Yet a magic touch of this ghost-forsaken rock will stand alone. Uh-oh. But I think we may have awoken the dead. It's not zombies like with Hildebrand last night, is it? Yeah, something's crawling out. And it's got creepy eyes. And it's standing before us. A Tonberry. Yeah, a Tonberry. Yeah, which means that it's actually a Lalafell. Is it a zombie though? Ah, thoroughly refreshed and raring to go. What? So you were never actually dead, you've just been in permanent stasis or something? And who might you two be? Wasn't expecting the common tongue. Maybe it knows it? You take me for some benighted fool. Ah, but perhaps a valid supposition given my current form. You stand before the archive, the very definition of erudition. Now hurry up and introduce yourselves. You first? Yeah, this is who I am. Mathia, is it? Those keen, searching eyes of yours. Clearly you have an inquisitive mind like no other. Save my own, that is. I'm Ketanam, an explorer hailing from Lins Solominsa. We're here on an expedition backed by the nation of Tuliolal. Linsula what now? Tuliolal? You're not familiar with these places? I visited each of the 12 city-states and learned all that there is to know about their peoples and cultures, but those names ring unfamiliar. To think a whole nation would elude me? Tell me, when exactly was this Tuliolal founded? Yeah, I guess he's been in stasis for that long. I don't know why I'm giving the history lesson when Kenran can probably give it way better than I could. So sometime later. The 7th Astral Era? I moved to the island to avoid spreading the affliction that left me, as you see, and promptly fell into a deep slumber. If memory serves, such a plague swept the realm at the end of the 5th Astral Era. But that means that you've been asleep for more than 1,500 years! Wow, if that's true. That would explain why I feel so rested. Now that I'm awake, I should very much like to see what has become of the Isle. Yeah, I'm getting kind of Aladdin vibes here. 10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck! So off he waddles, and we shall follow. You know, we're just leaving this thing alone. We're not going to bother to close it up again. Because, yeah, what if there was something other than this tomberry in there? Have a look around. The fountains still work. I certainly don't recall the memorial fountain being so begrown with algae. Perhaps you do speak the truth. And this strange ether I sense pervading the island, could it be a ward of sorts? The noggin's still foggy after that eons long slumber. There was a time when I knew all kinds of things. The name of every battle, the weight of all the riches in the world to the ounce. I was a wise old man, a gushing font of knowledge. And now, say, I could be a real boon for your expedition once I get up to speed. I shall join you on your endeavors. Yeah, that's venture forth into the mysterious isle, or perhaps in the course of our adventure, your memories will come flooding back. Yeah, that could be possible. Seeing as there's nothing in this settlement out to kill us, I think it's time that we get the crew ashore and in on that keep. I'll be right back. Hopefully we can learn more about the isle from our newfound conspirator. So I'll let you go do that. I was about to say, are we still in cutscene? No. We're just going ahead to complete this quest and taking 920 gil for unearthing this ancient tomberry. The archive has been added to the occult record. So we shall continue on then. Let's speak with the archive again. And move on to... We'll move on to our next quest entitled Unfamiliar Territory. The Wow, where's this suddenly come from? Okay, start over. Yeah, suddenly my body is saying no. Gotta get it out of my system if I can. Thankfully, I'm in ad break, so you have no idea that this is going on. Alright, let's go ahead and speak with the archive again, and we'll move on to take on our next quest entitled Unfamiliar Territory. The archive yearns to make sense of the situation. And so when Keteram returns... Would you care to elaborate upon what brought you here? Well, let's go ahead and explain it to you. So this isle lies in the heart of Shade's Triangle, and many a ship has gone missing in these waters? Pretty much. Yeah, see for yourself if you really want to. Among some of the casualties, you mentioned the wrecks out in the bay. It's not unreasonable to think some of those sailors would have made it ashore. Why did no one try to wake me? Well, you were in a sarcophagus. Yeah, they probably took one look at you and sealed the sarcophagus back up. The door to your chamber was tightly barred. Or never mind that, I'm still puzzled by the strange voice that only I can hear. But yeah, the door to your chamber was tightly barred. But your burly companion was able to force the lock. I dare say younger, swarthier sailors would have even less trouble getting that door open. Yeah, they kind of force you to go with another answer, which I'm pretty sure it was number 3. Because I doubt it's the joke answer at number 1. And it's weird that number 2 isn't considered the logical answer. You mean to imply that someone summoned you here? Clearly it wasn't me. I've been sound asleep for the last few millennia, give or take. What a tantalizing conundrum. We must simply get to the bottom of this. Indeed we must. But in the meantime, yeah, we have a Scholar's Ferry on board. and it's having a hard time keeping itself in camera. Is it knowledge you seek? Hello there. Hello there, Scholar's Fairy. What manner of creature is this? A familiar, methinks. Looks like the fairies employed by Nemean scholars of Eld. Was it you who summoned her? Me? Preposterous! I'd have summoned something more statuesque. Statuesque, huh? How rude! My name is Iris, and I certainly wasn't called forth by a wizened little wretch like you! Ouch. Yeah. Wizened? You mean wise, you petulant little whelp. Honestly, who would ever summon a companion so lacking in manners? I know exactly what I meant, and you, sir, are lacking in wisdom. A seal has been placed upon your worldly knowledge, thus preventing its use. You can only speak of that which the life individual over here has seen and learned firsthand. Is that so? Well, that explains why I can't muster the faceless smirk of magic. I tried to heal myself earlier to no avail. Centuries of sleep on that cold stone slab really took its toll on my lower back. It certainly would have. Enough of you and your ache and bones, Iris. Where's your master? Yeah, where is your master? You mean you don't know either? Let me try a different attack. Why were you summoned here? I don't know. Yeah, looks like we have two individuals who are clearly lost to time. Looks like someone else has had their knowledge sealed away. If I'm wizened and lacking wisdom, then you're not but an unfamiliar. And I'll tell you one thing, that fairy was steeped in the same ether permeating the island. At least you have that kind of ability to sense that. As I surmised, there's a strange wall covering the island in its entirety. No doubt those ships in the bay were caught in its pool. Well, the walls can't just cost themselves, meaning someone's responsible for those poor souls who perish in Shay's Triangle. Methinks our focus ought to be finding out what we can about this individual, and let's not forget that strange voice we keep hearing. For all we know, it could be connected in some way. Yeah. Right, let's go speak with Jeffroy over yonder. He also have word on progress at the base camp. And that base camp is over that way. And so speaking with him, we will go ahead and complete the quest as we do it. Alright there, Mr. Jeffroy. Nice to meet you. So now, you'll be pleased to hear that preparations are well underway. I sent the advance party to scout ahead while the ship's being unloaded. They've already found an ideal spot to stage 4 ways into the island's southern reaches and are setting up camp as we speak. When you're ready to head off, just say the word. Once you're out in the field, you'll have to speak with Kettenram and decide how to proceed. The support crew will be stationed here in town. Be sure to avail yourself of their services if you're in need. And if you're after a weaponsmith, word is we hired a truly remarkable craftsman for the expedition. Judging by his reputation, he'll soon have your weapons honed to deadly perfection. That sounds like a good help for us. So I guess they're all over there. The smith will be setting up over yonder. Do drop by if you're interested. Well, that's all for me. Give me a shot when you're ready to make for the encampment. You certainly will, so let's take 737 gil. Occult Crescent's South Horn now accessible. You stand upon the Occult Crescent, an uncharted island in the heart of the Shades Triangle. Whether you choose to join your fellow explorers in large-scale battles against the fiercest of foes, or take on the Crescent's denizens in a series of small skirmishes, there are many ways to proceed and much to uncover on these shores. The following pages contain a detailed explanation of what you may expect on the Occult Crescent. Read and understand them well if you would seek to unravel the island's mysteries. Level requirements. The Occult Crescent is accessible for Disciples of War and Magic, level 100 and above. The required item average level is 690, and item level will be synced to 700. So yeah, not much in terms of leeway. Plays may change to a different job of sufficient level while in duty. All players are subject to a separate leveling system while exploring the Occult Crescent, indicated by their knowledge level. Participating in large-scale battles or slaying the island's fiends will bolster your knowledge akin to experience points. When facing the fiends of the Occult Crescent, your knowledge level will significantly impact the outcome of any battle. To improve your chances of survival when roaming the wilds, be sure to accrue as much knowledge as you are able. Discrepancies between your knowledge level and that of your foes will affect the damage you deal and receive. You would do well to choose your marks carefully before engaging. While exploring the Isle, you may participate in critical encounters, large-scale battles for up to 72 combatants. Emerging victorious from these perilous endeavors will garner a wealth of knowledge and other rewards. As critical encounters are not affected by your knowledge level, they can be attempted regardless of your progress. Additionally, during the course of your expedition, the return action is replaced by Occult Return, which enables instant return to base camp without the penalty of a lengthy recast time. So yeah, I understand what I must do then. Now hopefully it doesn't come with the penalty of willingly reviving, like it is at Bozia. Because yeah, you got penalized hard for doing so. Let's go ahead and speak with Mr. Jeffroy then. Journey to the Occult Crescent South Horn. Oh, I guess I should address the battle, shouldn't I? Yeah, that would make sense, wouldn't it? So let's have a look at the South Horn of the Occult Crescent. There's even a pyramid in here, as well as a Colosseum. Like a whole bunch of famous ancient buildings and structures are located all in the same spot. Duty commenced. Let's go ahead and speak with Ram and move on to our next quest entitled New Job, Old Tricks. Ram is overseeing activities at the expedition base camp. You'd be hard-pressed to find a better location to stage an expedition than this, and to think we'd even find something akin to an aetherite. With any luck, there'll be a few more dotted around the island to avail ourselves of. Make sure you're tuned with this one before leaving camp. Speaking of leaving, our advance party scoured the area and brought back a few bits and bobs of interest. The archive was appraising the cache, but he soon scampered off and started poking around that heap of rubble. We better see what he's up to. We should, shouldn't we? First, attunement. Now why has someone got their dog here? You have tuned yourself to an Ethernet shard and now have access to the Isle's Ethernet. Additional shards can be found across the Occult Crescent. Attune to them to facilitate faster travel throughout the island. So over here somewhere, here's where our archive is. There you are! I've got something crystalline to show you. Let's have a look. What was that sound? Ah, just as I thought. Because you laid eyes on the crystal, I was able to tap into my wealth of learning on the topic. This seal knowledge business is awfully frustrating, I must say. What I handed you is a soul shard from the 5th astral era, contained within is a phantasmal record of arcane arts and combat disciplines pioneered by the 12 city-states of Eld. I am sure the methods you modern combatants employ are far more refined than those of my day. Nevertheless, you might benefit from learning the old ways of waging war. Under normal circumstances, I'd find myself a soul shard and fight alongside you, but I can't access what's inside, thwarted again by the seal that diminutive little Skywake spoke of. Given that you were summoned here especially, I dare say you'll have no trouble using it, however. Go on, try fixing it to your garb. Alright. So we'll take 691 gil before we do that. So as we pan the camera over, we now have phantom jobs. As we can see here, the soul shard in your possession gives you access to 3 phantom jobs: Phantom Knight, Phantom Monk, and Phantom Bard. These supplementary jobs can be selected via the Phantom Job window while on the Occult Crescent. Selecting a Phantom Job enables the use of job-specific Phantom Actions. Phantom Actions are displayed on the Phantom Action panel, from which they may be selected for execution. Much like other actions, Phantom Actions can be registered to the hotbar. You are currently a Phantom Freelancer. Select your chosen Phantom Job from the window to proceed with the expedition. And over here, speak with the Expedition Advisor here in the base camp, or Jeffroy in the Phantom Village to learn more about the Occult Crescent. So, nothing further can be learned until we start getting out there. So let's go ahead. I have to select one of the 3 jobs. Yeah, it said we can choose from Bard, Monk, or Knight. So, since I really don't have a really good idea of what each of these things do, because this is clearly a tanking move, and these 2 are more DPS. This one also seems like it's more of a support role. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Monk. I mean, it even has Bartz's image in there. Let's go over to the survey point. The Expedition Base Camp is now added to the record. So here's everything that we have accumulated so far. So in so doing, that now opens up another quest to take from Archive. Let's speak with Archive again to take on our next quest entitled The Ancient Arts of War. The Archive insists you affix the Soul Shard to your person. Excellent, it would seem you managed to interface with the Soul Shard. There is one caveat. I believe it will only work within the confines of the island's ward. Nonetheless, as you accumulate more knowledge, you'll soon be able to draw on more potent techniques. What's more, I don't think that's the only Soul Shard in the island. I'm positive you'll acquire others on your travels. The more you possess, the greater the array of ancient techniques you'll have at your fingertips. Well, I shan't keep you from your excursions any longer, though you better speak to that imposing lass over there before you depart. Alright. Yeah, and by opposing, she means, or he means Offengein. Hello there, Offengein. These walls have seen better days, but they're solid enough. As long as you secure the entrance, the camp will be safe while you're out roaming the isle. Awesome. Roaming's all well and good, but we'll need a firm plan of action if we are to make any headway. Alright. Before you leave, let's consider our approach. Okay. Let's take 691 gil before we do that. Yeah, we're getting a bunch of micro quests right now, it seems. They're not just putting it all into a single quest or 2, they're taking a step by step. Alright there, Kenram, let's now take your quest, entitled Creatures of the Crescent. Kenram has devised a plan for the pending expedition. Seems to me the more we learn about this island, the further we get from unraveling its secrets. There's the voice that only you can hear, the Isle Wild Ward, and the seal on the Archive's knowledge. They're very familiar under Master, not to mention that finding a settlement on such a remote island is possibly strange to begin with. But before we get to satisfying our curiosity, we have more pressing concern to address. And what's that? Safety. The crew are peerless, yourself included, but obviously negligence and lack of preparation lay low the finest explorers. Which is why I intend to thoroughly apprise the threats lurking beyond these walls. As our resident freelancer extraordinaire, I want you to fell 3 different species of fiend, and share your findings from each encounter. At the very least, there'll be an opportunity to test that crystal of yours. Okay. Provide me with any information you gather. The more you see and share, the more we chip away at that blasted seal. Very well. Thankfully, we are allowed to run free with our chocobo. But that's to lead. That's the expedition advisor, so let's go start finding stuff to kill. So, we do have a Crescent armor and a Bandersnatch, but it's the Bandersnatches that are the quest requirements, so let's pull this one over. I imagine this guy's just going to cause trouble. Armored fronts, from their perspective. All set at level 1, of course, because we're just starting out. And try and give you a swift kick for good measure. It's a good thing that I have all use of my skills available. We got 10 Phantom Experience points and 10 units of knowledge. So over here are the flying lizards. My chocobo? Nope. Yeah, I didn't want to before because I wasn't sure if I actually could, but yeah, apparently you cannot summon your chocobo here. It's all on you. I can't remember if I could summon chocobos or not at Bozia or Eureka because it's been years since I've been to either of those places. Yeah, maybe for whatever reason, since I thought I could, I tried to. Also, this is what the Phantom Kick looks like. I'm surprised I haven't shown that off yet. So as you notice, it is in cooldown. So I need to go over this way, try and weave my way around the Bandersnatches. And find some gorillas to confront. Alright, let's use this again. Yeah, as you can see, it stacks as far as the strength of the move. One thing's for sure, I was not expecting bagpipes. Hey, I don't mind bagpipes. I grew up on them, so I'm very much accustomed to them. I know that they're not a people's cup of tea, but I've been listening to them for so long, I have quite an appreciation for them. In fact, my eldest aunt actually wanted to learn how to play the bagpipes herself. And she even went to, a number of years before the pandemic, she even went to go take a vacation in Scotland. And I guess that inspired her to start to want to take up the bagpipes. I don't know if she actually ever did, because I've never actually seen the bagpipes that she had, if she ever did have them. Let's speak with Archive to complete the quest. Dispatch those fiends and share your findings that you might partake of my unsealed wisdom. Let's do it. You encountered a whole herd of gorilla? It's rare indeed to see such notoriously territorial creatures band together. Mayhap it's a regional adaptation? Let's see, you also vanquished a flying lizard and a Bandersnatch. The former are known for their treetop nests, and the latter are often found prowling mountainous regions in search of prey. I'm no naturalist, but they don't sound like species you normally find in an island such as this. I suppose someone could have transported them here, but why could it do all that travel? Why indeed. I can answer that, or at least I could, were it not for that vexatious seal. In other words, we'll be relying on Matthias to document on what he finds on his travels. Honestly, I'm starting to think I just wasn't far off the mark about you. Uh-oh. Roam far and wide, Matthias. Help me unseal my vast reserves of knowledge and thus prove this lumbering clod wrong. With the local fauna surveying, I suggest we now seek signs of former habitation. There are plenty of structures besides the settlement you found me in. To start, I want you to visit the ruins visible due south of the encampment and examine their architectural motifs. I look forward to hearing your accounts. Thank you. So we'll take 737 experience points plus 300 knowledge points here in the Occult Crescent. In order to undertake the subsequent quest, you must unlock relevant entries in the Occult record. But in the meantime, those 300 points we got are enough to get a knowledge level. Alright. So let's see what we can learn about the Occult record. Yeah, here it is down here. We got 1, 2, and 3. But it says these are all undiscovered, so I guess we got to do more stuff out in the field in order to advance things further. So we can do that. So the next time I can speak with Archive, the ruins towering above the tree line south of camp. Those are the target of your next excursion. Hurry back and bring to me their bygone splendor. Alright, so yeah, there's still more to uncover, but before we venture on, there is something else that I can do just outside of the field. So out here, we'll find that there is a quest icon. So it was mentioned that someone else has accompanied us. Let's find out who that is by speaking with Littercell. We'll go ahead and take on his quest entitled Arcane Artistry. Littercell is on the hunt for a missing weaponsmith. That rum-addled reprobate. Wouldn't be surprised if I found him floating in the sea. Yeah, who are you referring to? Oh, all need of the smithy, do ye? I'm afraid we ain't open and running yet. Truth be told, the weaponsmith we all bolted before we could finish setting up shop. Really? A master of his craft by all accounts, but he's been nothing but trouble since he set foot on the ship. Kept trying to escape, so we threw him in the hold. Our rose didn't end there though. He drank most of the booze we brought along for the expedition. I tell you, the bugger was all pickled by the time we hauled him out. And the rose, the bastard's now gone and disappeared. Well, there was your first mistake, was bringing alcohol. Yeah, the fellow you speak of sounds vaguely familiar, or it sounds like you kidnapped an upstanding artisan and held him prisoner. But no, this does sound like a familiar individual. Either you're already acquainted with a scoundrel, or he owes his own to more cantankerous weaponsmiths than I thought. Needless to say, there aren't many folk willing to sail for Shade's Triangle. While we were scratching around trying to find someone, a certain enterprising woman put us in touch. Who also sounds like someone we know. They say that there ain't a finer weaponsmith alive today, but he drinks like a sailor on shore leave, and is up to his neck in debt. He signed up for the expedition to settle his dues, which can never be satisfied. Honey, you can't have gotten far. It's not like there's any way off this rock. If he's not as good as they say, I reckon it'd be a boon for your adventuring. Keep your eyes peeled if you're round into a shirtless, rum-soaked, good-for-nothing by the name of Gellert. Tell him to come and see me. Yeah, that's him, alright. Yeah, I'm hunched over like, oh man, him again? But yeah, him again. You'd think they would throw us a new person of interest to deal with. Because, yeah, we've had him for all these years and all these expansions now. And yet Rowena's still throwing him to the wolves. Whether he likes it or not. Hey, ugly. Still as pissed off as ever. Not a drop of wine to be had in this bloody ghost town! Yeah, because apparently you already consumed all of it. There's no mention of Shade's Triangle when I signed the goddamn contract. Talk about false body pretenses. More fool for me trusting that wily Harridan, eh? Yeah, are you alright there, Geralt? Who the hell's that? Oh, bugger me. Can't I do one bleeding job without you shouting your ugly mug? How about now? That said, there's never a dull moment when us two team up. No, there isn't. Yeah, with a look on my face. How about we finish the job sharpish and get off this desolate rock, eh? Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's head on back to Liedersdal. Yeah, here he is, right over here. You must have had an hard time coaxing him back. Or just full of the trouble. Right, with the smithy up and running, it's our time you started in your keep. Listen here, do you think I'm really gonna sully me armor and tongues knocking out work any village smith with half a brain can handle? No, nothing less than 9 impossible feats of genius stuck me far these days. Says the impudent soul to drink the old dry, racking up more debt in the process. You're hardly in a position to dictate terms. Though it does seem daft to fork over eye, water and sunstone, IOA Osius finest weaponsmith, what do you have in forging plain old swords and shields? And so that's where we come in. Any ideas, adventurer? Yeah, let's think about this. It's not quite my field of expertise, or I'm sure Eor's the finest weaponsmith has his own ideas, but yeah. I will defer to the expert in this matter. Lucky for you, fights a now impossible genius on me bread and butter. I'll devise a new means of refining weapons and armor. Of course I'll need raw materials. Some magic warped ore from the Isle should do just the trick. Let's hope it can. Hey there, Insonius, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you with us. If it's ores you're after, our surveyors will soon be conducting a preliminary excavation. Is that all you need to start? Yeah, there's gonna be more to it than that. Hardly. If that were the case, any old fool could do the job. Magical properties can be fleeting and elusive. Without a means to properly harness the ether, there's never the chance the ore to degrade in the process. Yeah, that's not good. So they require something else besides raw materials. Any inkling as to what that might be? Sometimes a foul beastie in the throes of death will leave behind a crystallized chunk of their life essence. I've used the stuff in the past, and while it ain't exactly common, I'd wager you'll find it on this bastard rock. Not that it's unique to the island, mind, I'm sure you'll find it elsewhere too. Does this mysterious crystal have a name? Does it? Indeed it does. Demiatma. Why do I look so worried about this? Why am I so disappointed about this? Thanks for the spark our weaponsmith needed. Looks like he's committed to fulfilling his contractual duties at the very least. So, how do you feel about handling the fiend filling part of the gambit? While you're out there acquiring Demiatma, I'll see how amenable Geralt is to helping around the smithy. I reckon that's a reasonable division of labour. Why do I seem like I not want to do this? Yeah, the reluctance in my face is obvious. I mean, the Warrior of Light should not be balking at this sort of thing. Demiatma can be obtained from fates and critical encounters on the Occult Crescent South Horn. It can also be obtained from fates in other regions, including Urkopacha, Kozumaaka, Yaktel, Sholani, Heritage Found, and Living Memory. In other words, all the locations in the world of Dawntrail.